This podcast is a part of the Podmania podcasting network. Check out podmania.co.uk to check out more of our great podcasts, features, reviews, match ratings and previews spanning the crazy and diverse world of professional wrestling. Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of the Stardom Cast, your weekly or sort of audio source for all things World Wonder Ring Stardom right here on the Podmania Podcasting Network. I'm your host, Rob Goodwin, and I'm joined as ever by Chris O'Brien. Merry Christmas, Christopher!
Number 27th.
We're nothing if not punctual.
To be fair, I completed one. Everyone has this Christmas tradition. I'm not special, but get all the leftover meat, throw it on a sandwich. The most unhealthy sandwich you'll eat all year, but it's also the best sandwich you'll eat all year. Oh my god!
Yeah, it's Ross's sandwich from Friends.
Yeah, and for literally the last 2 years, because all my family's been in there, and we big fucking family. The O'Brien breed like rabbits. So
it's a lovely thought.
I never get to the meat. I never get to the meat on time. That's all I want, and it's sad every year. But this year, it's only me and my brother in the house because tier 4 is amazing. So I got to have a massive one, some stuffing thrown on there, bit of gravy, turkey, ham. Was gonna have lamb, but we kept that for Mum. We're good boys.
I mean, you sound great. A little bit aroused.
It's such a good sandwich. Like, I sometimes miss meal deal sandwiches, but that's mostly just missing real life.
Just missing going outside.
Yeah, I miss having a choice of having like more than one choice of where to get takeout. Because basically, unless you want to spend 30 quid on an Indian, it's Chinese or Turkish.
You've got a Turkish takeaway, but only one supermarket.
We have a Turkish... well, we also have a co-op, to be fair, but I wouldn't call that super. We have a Turkish takeaway. We have a sweet shop. We have 2 vape shops. But you know what we don't have? A branch of RBS. You know what's in what used to be a branch of RBS? A fucking sweet shop. And it's called the Sweetie Bank, which is cute, but I'd actually quite like a fucking bank around.
I like that. I think that's great.
I would, but if we had an actual bank, we don't.
We just want money. We can't buy your sweets without money.
Yeah. It's like literally, if I need to get cash out for something, like before the bus, it was awful. I have to go up to the high street because there's no cash points within a 10-minute walk of me.
So aside from your excessively meaty sandwich, what else did you get up to over the Christmas break or the Christmas period?
Excessive drinking.
Standard.
So yeah, on it for 4 days. I'm a bit rough today, actually.
You sounded rough when you came onto the call. I didn't want to say anything. You sounded proper gravelly. You were like, "Hey up, are you all right?"
I've got a new computer, which is great. Been playing Star Wars Squadrons because I managed to get that for a tenner. It's amazing.
Nice.
Like, I've always wanted to drive an X-Wing. I mean, I can't drive an actual car, but, I can do an X-Wing. And...
Hang on.
What?
You can drive?
No, I can't drive.
Oh. That makes more sense.
Like, there's a reason I... when we went down to Blackpool, either on the train or in Garth's car.
I just thought you were lazy.
Oh, a headphone fell out. No. Okay, I'm back. What did he say?
I just thought you were lazy.
I
mean, there's that as well.
I didn't say that. I didn't say there's that as well. Yeah, how was your Christmas?
Yeah, not too bad. It's obviously very, very difficult. It was sort of waited on with bated breath twice in the lead up to Christmas. First, because obviously we broke up on the Thursday, but if a child comes down with a positive test, then we would have to isolate. And the closer we got to the cutoff point, which was Thursday, so Christmas Eve, it was like, come on, please don't get a phone call. Please don't get a phone call. Please don't get a phone call. And anyway, I didn't, so thank God for that. And then, yeah, Christmas Eve, we ordered a takeaway, as is the tradition in the Goodwin household. And we ordered it at just before 7:20, and the fucker came at 10:25. Was I hungry for an Indian curry at 10:25? No, was I fuck?
To be fair, we both had takeaways on the Saturday, didn't we? On Christmas Eve, didn't we? I had a pizza crunch.
For those who are listening, right, you will never understand the absolute disgrace of an image that Chris sent to the group chat, where he tried to pass off this sandy-looking boulder as actual edible food. It's
great. It's great. It's a deep-fried pizza. It's amazing. And it's like
fried pizza.
As well. It adds to the whole vibe.
What vibe?
The I feel so good, but it's so bad for me vibe.
Dude, eating a pizza from a takeaway is bad enough. But to have that then deep... How many calories do you reckon that is? And trust me, I'm not calorie shaming you. I've eaten my own body weight in jelly beans today.
No, I've done the same with celebrations. Yeah. But very quickly, power rank for celebrations.
All of them? Okay. I mean, number 1 is Malteser.
Yeah, obviously.
Number 2 is Galaxy Caramel.
Solid.
Number 3, Galaxy.
Yeah.
Number 4 is probably the Twix.
Yeah.
Number 5 is your Mars bar.
Okay.
Number 6, Milky Way. And then number 7 is dog shit. Then number 8 is the actual plastic outer tub. And then it's Bounty.
Okay, so for me, number 1, Maltesers, completely agree with you.
Okay.
Having in a biscuit.
Agreed.
And then for me, I prefer standard Galaxy to caramel, but really they're interchangeable.
They're interchangeable, yeah. Agreed.
And then for me, it's Snickers. I like the peanut. I'm a peanut butter fan.
I forgot Snickers were in there, actually.
And then Twix, lovely. And then Milky Bar. And then, controversial, Bounty, and then Mars.
That surprises me, only because you're Scottish and you love to deep fry Mars bars.
That's a Glasgow thing.
Have you not had one then?
I've never had a deep fried Mars bar now. Like I have limits.
It looks like a deep fried dog turd.
I mean, yeah, it probably does.
I imagine it tastes like it too.
I don't want to imagine what it tastes like.
What a deep fried dog turd tastes like.
Probably like a deep fried man. Tell you what though, over Christmas, my niece got 2 Nerf guns, which has made going to the bathroom more exciting. Because she just purchases herself on the stairs, waiting for someone to walk down with this fucking Nerf gun. I'm like, I swear to God, if you shoot me, I got my lightsaber out at some point just to try and get past her.
Is it a proper light up one?
No, it's one I had from a kid. You know those ones you used to get in like Woolworths for $5.
Oh yeah.
And it's all just like plastic. I want one of those proper light up ones because they look so fucking cool, but they're also so expensive.
Are you a Jedi or a Sith?
I do prefer the Jedi to the Sith, to be honest.
I prefer those good guys.
No, it's purely because you get more lightsaber variety. The Sith, you have to have red, and I like red, but also I'd like some different colours.
Oh, right. Anyway, let's actually get on to some wrestling. Today, then, ladies and gentlemen, obviously this is our last podcast of 2020. Hopefully next year is a damn sight fucking better than this dumpster fire that we call 2020. Today, what we're going to cover is we're going to cover the Road to Osaka Dream show, night 2, the show from the 16th at Korakuen. Very briefly whiz through the show on the 19th. Then, obviously, the main point of why we're here, we're going to talk about Osaka Dream Cinderella from the 20th of December. And then, to finish on, we're just going to look at some of the events of what happened after Year End Climax. I'm sure everyone has seen on Twitter and Facebook about what actually went down after Year End Climax. We're not going to review the show because as of this moment, there's only 3 matches up. So we're going to do that in the new year, as well as announcing the recipients of the inaugural Stardom Cast End of Year Award. So very, very prestigious podcast indeed. But before we start, Chris, I just want to go through a couple of things before we fire into that first Korakuen show. The first thing that I want to talk to you about is that Stardom released a new logo that they'll be using for 2021. What is your opinion?
It's fine. I prefer the current one. But I always think that when I see a new logo.
I don't hate it. When I saw it in the corner of the Year End Climax broadcast, I didn't hate it. I think it looks quite smart. It
reminds me of the Noah logo.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I loved the old Noah logo. Loved it. And then it became very clean and very corporate and quite boring. But I don't hate it now. And the Stardom logo, I don't hate. I know that it's been panned pretty much as a very, very unimaginative logo, especially as there are no stars on the new Stardom logo.
As opposed to the 2 we have on the current one.
Exactly.
We have lost 2 stars this year.
We might have to update our podcast artwork.
Oh no! Oh no! Because don't give Garth more work.
No,
that poor man.
That poor man. We just give him so many logos to do.
No, you do it. I'll just be chilling, and then you're like, "Hey, can you do something for me and Chris?" It's like, "Whoa, I did not approve giving the." Don't you drag me into this.
Moving on from the logo, then. More importantly, Stardom have announced the dark matches. Yes, matches for Wrestle Kingdom 15. So these are both taking place, I believe, on night 2. So on the 5th of January. So these are the matches. So we have a tag team match with the team of Mayu Watanabe and Tam Nakano taking on the Donna Del Mondo team of Julia and Sayuri. And then the second match is another special match with the Queen's Quest team of Sayaka Mitani, Azumi, and Utami taking on the Donna Del Mondo team of Maika, Natsupoi, and Himika. The first thing, Chris, that I notice, or the first thing that stands out to me is there's no Momo on this card.
No, there isn't. None at all.
And, I am made up for Sayaka Mitani because, let's be perfectly honest, what a way to cap off what's been an extraordinary year for her. She's progressed hugely, and now she is going to be wrestling at the Tokyo Dome. I mean, that's sensational. Utami was always going to be on the card as the champion. I think you're daft not to put Mayu on because she's the icon of Stardom. I think it's just very surprising that you've got Queen's Quest and no leader of Queen's Quest. Now, do we read more into that? We've had Moma Watanabe, who we talked about the storyline of, people have sort of been down on Momo recently, and then she lost, spoiler, at Osaka Dream Cinderella, where she didn't congratulate Utami for retaining. Do we read into this, or is it just a case of we can't fit everyone on the card? I mean, it's not exactly storyline driven, is it? Because the main feud in Stardom at the moment is Mayu and Tam, and they're teaming. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it does feel like we just needed to start. It feels like someone from New Japan who doesn't watch Stardom decided on these cards.
I'm not complaining, and ultimately, we're never going to see these matches because, of television deals.
Again.
Exactly, they're both dark matches, so we're never going to see them, so it's irrelevant, really. But it's excellent. It's excellent exposure for all of them. Like I said, I am made up for Sayaka Mitani being on this card. Something that I am surprised at, there is a Stardom show on the 4th, so, obviously that's probably why we haven't got any dark matches on the 4th. I am surprised we haven't got Bea Priestley in either of these matches.
Yeah, it's probably because she'll be escorting Ospreay down to the ring anyway.
Isn't that night 1, though?
Yeah, it is. Huh. Is it a day show, the Stardom show?
I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to have a look. But, as we've said, she's seen as sort of the crossover, sort of the Stardom representative on New Japan telly. New Japan fans are going to know Bea Priestley, so it's an easy link between the two. But yeah, not on the card. I mean, thank God it does mean Oedo Tai aren't on the card, because fucking hell, they are shit at the moment.
You don't want any hangings in the Tokyo Dome. This isn't WrestleMania 15.
Can you imagine? Oh my God.
If they were allowed to scream, they would scream.
Just frustration. Anyway, let's cut to some of these matches then. So let's cut first to Korakuen Hall, 16th of December, in front of 471 people. A couple of results then. Opening match saw Starlight Kid defeating Lady C at 5 minutes 40, and then a three-way match with Gokuen Death defeating Konami and Ruaka at 4 minutes and 31 seconds. First match that we're actually going to talk about is the next match, match 3, singles match between Mayu Iwatani and Saya Iida, with Mayu Iwatani defeating Saya Iida with a modified Boston Crab at 9 minutes and 2 seconds. Chris, what did you think of this match?
For most of it felt like Mayu was playing with her food.
It did, yeah.
It felt like she had so much frustration and she was just taking it out on the child. Which is bad for everyone. Although Saida's hope spots were really good because she didn't actually get to pull much off. Like, even when she attempted a power slam, Mayu didn't take the bump. Like, no bump, brother.
I'm not bumping for you, brother. Doesn't work for me, brother.
No, brother. No, none of that. I win. The chops will kill. The kill those chops are getting much better from Iida. But yeah, just it was fine. Like, honestly, I expected this to be May whipping Iida around, and that's basically what I got. So no complaints.
Yeah, it was another star-making performance for Saya Iida. She seems to get better and better, especially towards the tail end of this year. Every time I've seen her, she seems to have got better and better. Aside from whatever the crossbody reversal was supposed to be that Mayu openly laughed at in the middle of this match, which really, really made me giggle. I thought Mayu bumped circles for Saya Iida. You said initially, Chris, about how it was a case of Mayu playing with the food. She could end this when she wanted, but the longer it went on, you could see Mayu getting a little bit desperate, almost like she was like, I've waited too long here. I might fuck this up. And Saya Iida did really, really well. Played that fiery underdog babyface really, really well. And to put on a match like that against the leader of your stable, it's a high-profile singles match, even if it's not for a championship or anything like that. And to perform in the way that she did, I thought was fantastic. I gave it a high 7, Chris.
Yeah, I was feeling like a high 6 or 7. Like, it was good stuff, but nothing that's going to stick with you for after, especially considering basically the next show is the biggest show of the year, so.
Absolutely. So let's move on to the semi-main of this show. Just before that, we had the team of Rio and Saya Kamitani defeating the Donna Del Mondo team of Himeka and Maika at 10 minutes and 9 seconds. We had the Artist of Stardom Championship match next, with the Cosmic Angels team of Mina Shirakawa, Tam Nakano, and Unagi Sayaka defeating the champions, the Oedo Tai team of Bea Priestley, Natsuko Tora, and Saki Kashima at 18 minutes and 32 seconds. Chris, Wait.
Okay.
I'm not going to shit on Cosmic Angels. I'm not. I found myself getting really, really behind Cosmic Angels. And that's obviously what Stardom want. Oedo Tai, for everything we do, everything we say about how boring, how bland, and how completely ineffectual they are as heels, they did their job here. They got over Cosmic Angels as a babyface unit, and I thought that worked really well. I thought it was great to give Unagi the pinfall. You know, it's her first ever championship match, not just in Stardom, but her first ever championship match. And the moment where she got the pinfall over Saki, you could just see she was completely overcome with emotion. And, you know, that's not fake. That's real life. And we talked, it's a completely different thing, but we talked about how the best promo Julia ever cut was when she spoke from the heart, when she was honest, when she was herself, when she wasn't the character. And I think that speaks volumes here as well. I felt far more connection to Unagi here, you know, being so overcome and winning this first championship than I have at any other point in her run. And, you know, the same for Mina. I thought Mina was really, really good here. The fact that she did play that person that was booted from pillar to post by Natsuko Tora and B especially. So, do I like the Cosmic Angels faction? No, I don't. I think they're bizarre and ridiculous. But here...
I don't understand it and I don't like it.
But here, I was fully behind them. This wasn't a bad match. It was enjoyable. It's certainly... The best comment, or the best compliment that I can give it, is this match went 18 minutes and 32 seconds and was between two of my least favourite units in Stardom. And it didn't feel like 18 minutes and 32 seconds. That's probably the best thing that I can say about it, Chris.
You're saying you were strapped in for the ride?
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I'm essentially in agreement with you. This was a fun little match. It wasn't anything mind-blowing. Honestly, the day Oedetai blows my mind is the day I quit. This actual match was fine. I think it's a bit of a shame that Saki had to take the pin, though.
Yeah. No, I agree. She's been the most entertaining member of Oedetai for at least a month. Well, let's face it, no other fuckers stepped up to the plate, have they?
For at least a month.
Well, let's put...
Before that, there was just nothing.
Mate, Konami lost in a three-way match with Go-Kick and Death.
Yeah, I was surprised you didn't rant about when you were going over it earlier.
I'm not going to rant about it because I've seen the results for the year-end climax, so... Whatever. Carry on.
It's fine. I'm fine.
I'm fine!
But yeah, as you said, the promo was like heartfelt. She afterwards, they all very clearly were very happy to be given this championship run, like this early on in their Stardom career. So yeah, and to be fair, they defend them with vigor, like as we saw in Osaka Dream. So like, I'm on board for this Angels run. Yeah, I'd give it that. Much like the one before, I'd give it like a 7, maybe. I'm feeling a 7.
Yeah, I'm feeling a middle of the road 7, which again, you've got Tam and effectively two rookies against really bland Oedetai, who, to be fair, they weren't shit in this match. They did actually try, even though they completely took the edge off Cosmic Angels' celebration. I mean, Tora sitting on top of the ropes and saying, "Why are you crying? You didn't win anything." Yes, they did, Tora. They just beat you. You can't Donald Trump it and say, "Yeah, you didn't win. I won." No, you didn't, Tora. You didn't win. Yes, I did. And now B's going to talk. What is going on?
We're known for our political commentary here on the Stardom Cast.
just really, really bizarre. Anyway, I'm not going to rant about it because the next match was great.
The next match was fucking amazing, yeah.
Main event then was the prelude battle between Syuri and Moma Watanabe and Utami and Julia, with the team of Syuri and Momo defeating the champion team, Julia and Utami, at 23 minutes and 41 seconds with the buzzsaw kick. It's not often this year that we've seen Julia take a pinfall, but she did here. She lay down for Syuri.
Yeah. To be fair, you need to make sure he looks strong going into... because we weren't going to get the win back at Osaka, spoilers, Syuri's one down in the series with Julia, so this somewhat equals it up a bit. This match was great. This match had one very simple goal, and that was established for stories going into Osaka, and it did it really well. Like basically, because they're on the same faction, both teams have basically been having a little competition over who can get the most wins as teams. But now that they're against each other, they just got increasingly more aggressive. Some of the kicks thrown by, well, basically both Momo and Shiri were fucking brutal.
They were,
especially
absolutely.
from Shiri. Shiri's a great kicker.
She is, and it started as perhaps a little game of one-upmanship. And then there was a moment, it was about halfway through the match, when Syuri attempts to come into the ring to, I think, break up a Utami pinfall. And Julia just steps to her and fucking slaps the shit out of her. Just one slap. And it echoes around Korakuen. It's like, Jesus, this has just ramped up a little bit. And from there, it really did.
It was like one of those slaps Christian used to throw in TNA.
Yes. Yeah, it was actually.
Like for once he'd thrown like Samoa Joe and shit. He's a good slapper as Christian. It's fairly surprising. But yeah, just I hate when a match is like this on one level because like there's not a ton to say. It just fucks.
It was a really good, hard hitting main event, and if you weren't already excited about the main events of Osaka Dream Cinderella, which you should have been looking at them, then this certainly did, because you've got Syuri as a genuine threat to Julia, and Momo was on top of Utami for a considerable amount of this match. Utami still got her moments. The fucking lariat that Utami can throw is insane. I mean, admittedly, she did lariat her own partner by accident, but it's like a proper meat hook, isn't it? It's great. But yeah, this was really, really good. It's a high 8, easily match of the night, and it's the one match of these preliminary shows before Osaka Dream that I do actively encourage you to go and check out. It's a really, really, really good tag match, Chris.
Yeah, this is great. This would make it into my probably top 10 tag matches for Stardom this year, so definitely go out your way to check it out. It's not too long, only like 23 minutes. I have it in front of me. Absolutely amazing. Like, honestly, my stock with Shuri, I loved it before, but my stock after the last 2 matches here, she's went up immensely for me over the last couple of shows.
She's one of my favourite wrestlers, not just in Stardom, but of the year.
Do you know
full stop.
Do you know where she started her career?
No, go on.
Hustle.
Really?
Yeah, she started a career in Hustle.
Oh God. She's done all right despite that.
I'm gonna make you watch Hustle one day.
Please don't. Please don't.
What, you don't want to see Kawada dancing?
Anyway, so
abruptly
move the fuck on. The night before Osaka Dream, then we had a show in Shizuoka on the 19th of December. I'm just going to read through the results of this show because basically Korakuen was more the go-home show than this one, and far more was put into place in that show than there was for this one. This was far more a house show than the Korakuen show was. So I'll just read through the results from this. It was in front of 188 people in the Shimizu Marine building. So Ruaka defeated Lady C in 5 minutes and 22 seconds. Match 2, a 3-way match. Konami defeated Mina Shirakawa and Saya Ida in 7 minutes and 39 seconds. Tag team match with Natsupoi and Syuri defeating the Cosmic Angels of Tam Nakano and Unagi. Riho and Stars, Mayu Iwatani and Starlight Kid, defeated the Uedatai team of B. Priestley, Nats Katora and Saki Kashima by DQ, because of course they fucking did. And then this show was main evented 6-woman tag, Donna Del Mondo, Julia, Himika, and Maika, defeating Queen's Quest, Momo, Saya Kamatani, and Utami Hayashishita in 17 minutes and 27 seconds. And with that, let's move on to the main event of the evening, as Michael Buffer would say in WCW, to Osaka Dream Cinderella from the 20th of December from the Edion Arena, Osaka, in front of 1,027 people. couple of things then, Chris, before we get into the show and delve into some of these matches. First thing, the production, graphics, it all looked cleaner. It all felt bigger. You felt that this was a big show. The camera angles, the commentary, the graphics in the corners, everything seemed a far higher spec than certainly Sendai Cinderella and, Yokohama Cinderella as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. It felt as well produced as, say, like a Noah show or a New Japan show, and just everything naturally flowed into each other. The graphics on screen looked great. The entrances were shot beautifully. Like, every match sort of felt like a big deal. Well, apart from the tag matches in the middle, but like apart from that, everything felt like a big deal. Everything was sort of given the gravitas that it deserved. And also, that ramp was fucking great. I'm a fan of a good ramp.
The thing that sort of stood out to me, and it's a really small thing, it's the bell. At the start of every match, you had the pan out and the zoom in. It was exactly like they do for New Japan. So
yeah, I was saying when I was watching this too that I think I wouldn't be surprised if they got some of the New Japan staff on this.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. Would not surprise me at all. Now, the attendance. 1,027 people. Now, this has been debated on Twitter as to whether Stardom should be happy with that number. And people are throwing out New Japan as the comparison for that. So the last show that New Japan ran at the Edion Arena was Power Struggle, and that was in front of 2,834 people. There's no point for me comparing Stardom to New Japan. You have got a Joshi promotion that's, that 1,027 people is just short of a big Korakuen crowd, which is what Stardom runs. So to draw that many people in a pandemic is fantastic. New Japan, whether people like it or not, are the biggest wrestling promotion in Japan and are probably the third biggest wrestling promotion in the world. So they're obviously going to draw more people. Now, if you look at the Big Japan show that ran, they managed to draw 1,031 people to their 25th anniversary Osaka event. So there's 5 people between that. Dragon Gate on the 3rd of November managed to draw just above that, so 1,800 people. All Japan ran that and managed to get 400. Oh no, it was Edion Arena too. Fair enough. The N1 that was in front. Oh, it doesn't say. But
yeah, it doesn't say.
If you compare that to a Big Japan show as opposed to a New Japan show, that's a decent crowd. And I feel like that is something they should be comparing it to as opposed to trying to compare it to a New Japan show, because New Japan run Edion Arena all the time. And again, they are a far more popular wrestling promotion, not just in Japan, but worldwide. They are going to draw more people. So, yeah, I do think 1,027 people is all right. I don't think it's mind-blowing, but I think it's very good, and I think it's a good start. When you consider they drew 500 people to Sendai, and let's not forget as well that this is not only double that, I know it's a bigger venue, but it's not only double that, but at least this crowd was fucking awake.
I'm looking at the Big Japan show right now, and you know what I think might have put this match over the top would have been a scaffold death match.
Well, there you go. How do you compete with that?
Like, honestly, I kind of want to see that now.
Of course you do. Anyway, let's delve into this card then. So we opened with the Future of Stardom Championship match with Saya Iida defeating the champion Maika and Saya Kamitani at 8 minutes and 19 seconds with a brainbuster. Chris, what did you think of this match?
I thought it was really fun, like really fluid opener. Like everyone got their big spots in. I keep forgetting how like jacked Iida is. Like,
she is really jacked.
Yeah, and it's not as much. It really snuck up on you because she wasn't jacked at the start of the year. She's just been slowly getting more. You know what? Like when you haven't had a haircut or a while, or you haven't trimmed your beard in a while, and you just one day notice how long it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. I'm glad that Ida now has a brain buster, like an actual finish, because it's a decent enough brain buster for the first time putting it out.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's that impact finisher we were talking about.
Yeah, like it's what she needed, and she has it. Everyone looked fine. I've like there were some weirdly big bumps taken in this one for such a not enough an opener, but it's for a future Stardom Championship. So you wouldn't expect people to take it as big a bump. What got me though was the rule change afterwards. Can you just announce I want this to happen with the championship, and then that's it? But it's rules now.
Apparently that is how you change the rules of championships. Don't forget that's what Shuri did at the end of Sendai Cinderella with B. Priestley?
To be completely fair with Shuri, I'm still defending that decision because she gave her reason of I'm basically defending it as both Japanese and Philippine nationality, so more Japanese people can go in. It's still somewhat within the spirit of the rules of the championship, whereas this, she's just like, we need more time, and I get it's part of an active effort for Stardom to actually have reasons to defend their belt, as opposed to here where they've just had the same three people going after the belt since, June?
Yeah, and that would be an issue. With Saya Iida now coming up to over 2 years, Maika coming up to that, Saya Kamatani has still got a year, or just under a year, sorry. So what are you going to have, Saya Kamatani versus Rina for the next 2 years? No, you've got to do this. It makes far more sense. And not only that, but this way you can have Unagi go for the belt, you can have Mina Shirakawa go for the belt, even someone like a Himika. I think it's far below Himika, and I don't think she should do that, but, it's an option. There are options there, whereas you hamstring yourself unnecessarily by keeping it at 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're looking to do more of these big shows where the future of Stardom Championship is going to be defended more. Because you're absolutely right. It wasn't defended a lot when people like Starlight Kid held it or Utami held it. So now that it's being defended more, you need to have more people going for it, because you're right. You can't just have the same three people in different variations going for the belt.
Yeah. I will say this is much better than the three-way that crowned the champion, because that was an absolute clusterfuck.
I think the rule set really hamstrung them.
Yeah, because it was just a weird rule set, wasn't it? Whereas here it's just a normal triple threat match.
Unnecessarily complex, yeah.
Unnecessary. It's like the tag league. It's like, just because you're different doesn't mean you're
yeah, exactly.
It was a fine opener. 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I gave it 6 as well. It was full of fire, and there was a real passion around it, which instantly elevates the belt. If people want to fight for it, then it's going to elevate the belt. If people don't give a shit, no one is going to give a shit. So it was good to see all three women really give it their all. Saya Iida pulling out completely different things now, which is brilliant. There's something went wrong with the sunset flip powerbomb, where she sort of went to pin Maika, and then Maika just sort of didn't move. It was all very weird. And then on the Brainbuster, she was so... I don't know if you noticed this, but Saya was so passionate about the pinfall, she actually picked up Saya Kamatani, so her shoulders weren't on the mat. But who the fuck cares? Because it was such a feel-good moment for her. And then the really impassioned, if not a little bit too intense a promo... afterwards,
this is like Shuri and the Cinderella levels of passionate to the point of annoyance.
What she said was beautiful. It makes perfect sense. No matter where you come from, no matter what you do, it did make you feel a little bit sorry for her, because the stuff she was saying about how, or what she was comparing herself to, you did feel really quite sorry for her. So, to be able to cut that impassioned promo again, even though I think it did sort of come across as a little bit, whoa, it was nice to see, and I'm over the moon for Saya Iida. I think Maika has outgrown this championship now. We've talked for episodes after episodes about how well Micah has been packaged, how well Micah has been looked after, considering she is effectively still, a rookie, sort of. And obviously that would be, explained later on in the show. I think she's ready to be elevated to the next level, Chris.
Yeah, I agree.
Match 2 then. In fact, you know what? I'm going to lump these two matches together into one review. So I'll read out the results. Match 2 was the Oedo team of Konami and Natsukatora defeating Riho and Ruaka at 7 minutes and 5 seconds with the Triangle Lancer. And match 3 was Himipoi defeating B. Priestley and Saki Kashima at 11 minutes and 5 seconds with the running Powerbomb. So, Chris, did Oedo cover themselves in glory at this show for you?
I just stopped caring when they came. I was texting you that I'm just going to skip these and get back to it later, and then I watched them anyway. And they didn't actually annoy me. I actually ended up actually liking the second one. I enjoyed the sequences between Natsupoi and Saki. I still think Saki should be in the high speed division because they're doing nothing else with her. But yeah, other than that, I just didn't really think on these matches. Like, but one of those matches where, like, there's two reasons why I wouldn't take notes for a match. Either I'm so into it that I just forget to take notes, or I have nothing to say. I have very little notes for either of these matches. I didn't even make a great showman joke.
The first match was fairly standard, but what I don't understand is Oedo, cheating to win, fine. It's a heel trope. I don't mind that. Why did they need to cheat against Ruaka? That doesn't really
teach the young the lesson.
Yeah, I mean, mate, if Konami can't beat Ruaka without a chair shot to the back from Tori, it doesn't exactly paint Oedo in glory, does it? Yeah, we won. You hit a 16-year-old with a fucking chair.
I don't need to cut corners in Mario Kart to beat my niece. I still do it.
Well, you're a bellend. Horrible person. I don't know, it was just... It didn't need to happen. I would understand the interference more in the second match. Because you've got Himika, who has had a tremendous year. You've got Natsupoi, who's a very, very, very competent wrestler. Against, a team of established Oedo. I just don't understand why you would do it with the chair against Ruaka. It painted them as not heelish, just chumps. And that's the issue. Nonsensical booking. Otherwise, the match was fine. I thought Ruaka had a very good showing. The second match, I agree with you. I thought the second match was by far the superior match of the two. I think Natsupoi and Saki had some great moments. I think Natsupoi's sliding dropkick to B. Priestley was tremendous. It felt like I could hear B. Priestley's face shatter. And again, it painted Himika as a dominant person, even though B. Priestley and Saki Kashima had some genuine sort of plan going forward, which is something that Oedo seem to lack completely whenever they go into matches, because they targeted the knees of Himika. Perfect. Fell the giant. That's exactly what you should do when you're faced with someone like that. Ultimately, Himika won, but that's why I don't mind this match. I don't mind this match at all. So I gave the Konami and Natsukatora match 5. I gave this one 6.
I gave the same, except I gave the first one 4. Okay.
Just before we get onto the High Speed Championship match, I'm going to be drawing a lot of parallels between this show and the Yokohama Cinderella show, because, spoiler alert, they are my two favourite shows of the year, and they are the most similar shows of this year for Stardom. When you look at the undercard for this show, and I know we talked about how, people like Konami and Himika are in throwaway tag matches on the undercard, I still think the undercard of this show is better than the undercard at Yokohama Cinderella, because even though you opened with that tremendous Azumi versus Starlight Kid match, you then had the Mina Shirakawa squash match. You had the Natsu Sumia and Yuna Manas match, which was an absolute fucking dumpster fire. So I think this, compared to Yokohama Cinderella, this has a better undercard than that did, Chris.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, basically, the only two matches you'd have to sort of grit your teeth with are the Aradasai matches. Beyond that, it's all really good stuff.
Yeah, and they're competent matches. They aren't bad matches. It's just the finish to the second one, which confused and annoyed me a little bit. Let's move on then. Match 4 was the High Speed Championship match, with Azumi, the champion, defeating Marvelous's Mei Hoshizuki, the current Sendai Girls Junior Heavyweight Champion, at 10 minutes and 31 seconds with the flash pin, or with a flash pin, I should say. Now, I have a feeling, Chris, that me and you are going to differ slightly on this match. And I'm going to ask you a really, really important question. Okay? But I'm going to wait until you've said your piece, because I know you were really high on this match.
Oh, I really enjoyed this match. I do like that this story is basically, we're going to try to give each other a concussion. I enjoy that as a story. They sort of both had to learn the hard way, where you don't throw drop kicks on the outside.
Definitely. Fucking hell.
Yeah, Jesus. But what I like about high speed matches is that because they're normally like sub 5 minutes and end on a roll up, it means these roll up sequences that would just be annoying in any other big match, because it's not going to end on a roll up, you're on the edge of your seat for, because it's the high speed title. It could happen. I didn't have time to take notes in this one. They were moving too fast. But none of it felt forced up. They all sort of flowed into each other. That Hurricane Rana through the ropes, it's fucking incredible, and it's one of the reasons I like Stardom, because you can only really do it when you're how tall is Azumi? She's like
4 foot
5 foot, isn't she?
I think she's either high 4 foot or low 5.
She's 5'1". So yeah, you couldn't imagine if Okada attempted to do
Spike himself.
He'd neck himself. So that's kind of like the high speed division. It's something you could only really do well with a roster like this. And then Mei Hoshizuki, I can never say
Hoshizuki.
Mei. I'm just gonna say Mei. Mei was great here too. She clearly likes her drop kicks, as displayed in the 6-man here and in some of the matches sent to us by someone in our Discord.
Velkish.
And yes, and she's just great, and I hope to see her more. I hope Stardom does more with Marvelous, because it means I can see the Marvelous people without having to add another promotion to my watch list.
I thought there was an interesting story being told in this match. There was, don't forget Azumi challenged Mei for this match, and there was initial respect, but it's clear from how she wrestles Azumi to start off with that she thinks that she can get this done easily. She's cynical, vicious, especially with that aforementioned Hurricane Rana through the ropes, which is it's just so fucking cool. But Mei is really, really resilient and kicks out of fucking everything that Azumi can throw at her. And she breaks several arm breaker attempts. She even kicks out of the Azumi Sushi. And when she kicks out of the Azumi Sushi, you actually see the point in Azumi's eyes where she realizes she's in potential trouble. And she needs to do something quickly, because she hasn't got anything left in her arsenal that she can throw at Mei that Mei hasn't already kicked out of. So then you go into the desperation flash pins. You've got Azumi desperately trying to put Mei Hoshizuki away before she, who has just been, for lack of a better word again, resilient, has just been waiting for her opportunity before Mei can cover her for the pin. So then you've got that fantastic flash pin sequence, which, yes, went a little bit too long, but otherwise it was great, and we had some of the closest 2 counts I've seen this side of the G1 Climax final. But eventually, Azumi, of course, does get that one to stick and to win and to retain a championship. But she shakes Mei's hand at the end, and she clearly understands that she shouldn't have taken her so lightly to begin with. It was a simple story. It was an action-packed story. 10 minutes and 31 seconds. Really, really action-packed. Really, really enjoyed this. And I thought, like you said, Chris, Mei Hoshizuki gave a really, really, really good account of herself. The question now is, which did you prefer? Azumi versus Mei Hoshizuki from this show, or Azumi versus Starlight Kid from Yokohama Cinderella?
I like them both for different reasons, but like I think on an objective level, the Starlight Kid match is better. You can't really match that chemistry because they've been paired off with each other for basically their whole career. It's like the Ryuli and Hiromu thing where they never have a bad exchange with each other because they just know each other inside out.
Agreed. I think this was a really, really good match, a high 8 out of 10, but I think the Starlight Kid match was better.
I agree. That's not a dispersion on this match.
Lord, no.
Like I can again, it's chemistry you can't really match with someone. Like they're just each other's eternal foils at this point.
So, this was initially just an elimination match, but with Cosmic Angels capturing the Artist of Stardom titles from Oedo Tai and Korakuen, it became an Artist of Stardom title elimination match. So we actually had the Cosmic Angels team of Mina Shirakawa, Tam Nakano, and Unagi defeat the Stars team of Gokiken Death, Mayu Iwatani, and Starlight Kid at 14 minutes, with Mina Shirakawa being the sole survivor. Now, Chris, the booking of this match was almost there. It was so close to being there, but it suffered from a few nonsensical booking decisions. And
you could say it died a death.
Well, I mean,
no, okay.
Do you know what doesn't add to the drama of this match that's been built up? Rubbing some fucking clown on it.
Pour some clown on me.
In the name of stars. It didn't make one lick of sense. I mean, you've got the 5 people in the ring. You've got Mayu, Starlight, and Cosmic Angels who have had this feud. And the entire feud, they even referenced it in the fucking promo afterwards. The entire thing was them and Sairida. So,
but Sai was busy that night, so
I completely understand that. Make it a tag match. Make it a tag match, and then have the next installment later on, like they did with the Captain's Fall match between Oedo Tai and Tokyo Samus. I know that this is your big show. I'm perfectly aware of that. But I would rather have it be a tag match than have a comedy character in this sort of match. Because not only was she the comedy in this match, she got 2 pinfalls.
Yeah, she did. To be fair, wasn't one of them an over-the-top rope elimination?
Yeah, but even so, I mean, yeah, it made no sense. Having Mina as the sole survivor on Cosmic Angels team made all the sense in the fucking world, and I will talk to you about that in a minute. But what did you think about this match?
I'm not sure how much I liked. Like, I enjoyed aspects of it, but the whole thing, I was sort of left baffled. I was sitting there, pizza crunch in hand, thinking, what the fuck is going on? And yeah, I just don't know. Like, the moments are great. Anything between Tam and Mayu is great because they just know what they're doing with each other. Shirakawa is getting better and better each time I watch her. Unagi was there. And then you have Death, who, like, I don't know, if there was like a really, like, say this was Star Wars and there was this really intense lightsaber battle, say like Rey and Kylo Ren from episode 7, and then Mr. Tumble was just sitting in the fucking corner. It would sort of take you out of it, wouldn't it?
It would be like if you watch The Phantom Menace and, you know,
I'd rather not.
Why the fuck would you? But the only decent bit of that film is to have Darth Maul, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Obi-Wan Kenobi have that kick-ass lightsaber fight. Agreed, Chris? That's the only decent bit of that film. Now imagine having Obi-Wan Kenobi substituted out for Jar Jar fucking Binks.
Jar Jar. Well, if you sub Qui-Gon out for Jar Jar, and then Jar Jar dies.
I mean, does that have the same fucking effect? No, of course it doesn't. But then to have Gokiken Death as the last person eliminated makes no sense. Anyway, I'm not gonna rant about this. It made sense for Unagi to be the first one to get the pinfall and then to be eliminated because, she's the new blood. She's the person that's been brought in. She's the one who all the focus has been on. She was ZZ or ZZ or whatever you wanted to call her. She was the person that, again, bought in, and she was effectively the straw that broke the camel's back. So it makes sense that they team up on her. I'm 99% sure that the Tam Nakano elimination was a botch. I think she was supposed to be eliminated, but I think it was supposed to be slightly later on, and I don't think it was with the move that she was eliminated with. I think Mina missed her cue to break it up. Did you see that?
It's certainly not against the realm of the possibility. I'm honestly not sure. Now that you said it, I'm going 50 back and forth on it in my mind.
However, Mina Shirakawa was the person that was bought into Stars by Tam. The start of all this was because of Mina. So you've got Mina Shirakawa, in Mayu and Starlight's mind, the person that has driven a wedge between Tam and Stars against the team of Mayu, Starlight, and Gokiken. Mayu and Starlight, don't forget, who she fought tooth and nail to get their respect during the Tag League, and who Mayu was so dismissive of. And I love Mayu. But in this, they did such a good job of making Mayu and Starlight the heels, which is just tremendous. It was really, really, really good booking. And ultimately, Mayu and Starlight got eliminated because of their own arrogance. Not because of Mina's in-ring chops or because of anything Cosmic Angels did, but because of their own complacency. And that's sort of been this whole story. They just assume they're going to beat Cosmic Angels. And yeah, we can talk until the cows come home about the fact that Gokiken Death versus Mina Shirakawa should never in a billion years have been the last bit. It should have been Starlight and Mina, or Mayu and Mina. In my opinion, it should have been, if you're going to do that, if you're going to have Mina eliminate all three, it should have been Mayu last, because I think that blow would have struck the best. I think that blow would have struck the hardest, because ultimately, Mayu is Stars. And then for her to be the final hurdle for Mina to overcome, I think it just would have been so much better, because there's only so much drama you can glean, no matter how well Mina's done. And don't get me wrong, immediately after Tam's elimination, there was some fucking horrendous botchy bits. But looking past that, because you can argue that Mina's nervous because of the fact that she's now on her own, so we can put it down to that and not just the fact that something went wrong. All of that drama is sucked up by the fact that you've got a clown in a cheap clown outfit fighting for the future of Stars. For me, that took me completely out of the end of what was a well-booked story. Not necessarily a well-booked match. The match is there. It's nothing great. The story, however, is so close to being there.
What I will say about this match is it did something a match should never do, and that's give me hope and then dash it. Because there was a bit where we did a double team, and instead of doing the back fist, she did like a rolling elbow, and it didn't look bad. And then later in the match, she just did a back fist again. Oh my god!
Well, it's quite funny you mentioned that actually, because in the semi-main, Shiori teaches you how to do it properly.
Yeah, she did. It was great. I love a back fist. It's my favorite kind of strike.
The promo off happens afterwards then with...
It was weird, wasn't it?
It was intense. It was... Let's put it this way. You could cut the tension with a knife. Tam announced that Cosmic Angels would be leaving to form their own unit as opposed to a sub-unit of Stars. Mayu then condemns her as her enemy and says that they shouldn't be satisfied by beating her and Kid via over-the-top rope disqualification. So, going full heel in the fucking process. Starlight Kid says that her, Mayu, and Sayurita will take the belts when they return in January to the Edion Arena. So that's that set up, though that's not going to be happening, and I'll talk to you about that in a moment as to why that's not going to happen. What did you think about this promo? What did you think about the overall storyline? What do you see in the immediate future of Cosmic Angels? Are we going to have more people joining? Are we going to keep them as a threesome? What is going to happen, Chris?
I think they'll slowly expand. I think we're going to make more signings. Like, Stardom right now seem to be making more signings as opposed to bringing in, like, loads of rookies.
Mm.
Like, well, they are bringing in rookies, but they're bringing in, like, established rookies from Tokyo Joshi, mostly.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. I think they just wanted another place to put in new signings because with TCS gone, there was nowhere really to put people in, especially since hopefully you'll be having more Gaijins coming back in soon, so you need places to put them. Maybe with 5 factions going around that we can actually finally have Rio in a fucking faction. Because she seems to just be Stardom's intern at this point.
Stardom's intern.
Yeah, she's there to make the coffee. She makes a very weak coffee. Yeah, in terms of where it's going, I literally don't know. I think Year End Climax is sort of throwing a monkey wrench into the works.
In more ways than one.
Yeah. To be fair, I only know one thing from End Year Climax. The rest of it's going to be a complete surprise for me at the end of this podcast. So stay tuned for that, I guess. So yeah, I after if you'd have asked me this without knowing big things happened at end year, I wouldn't. I would just assume they'd go like head to head with Stars for the next few months. But you know, monkey wrench has happened, so who knows? Who the fuck knows anymore? Anything's possible. Time's an illusion.
Again, thank you to I think it was Valkish in the Discord who and Niagara. There was quite a few actually who talked about how this has sort of been building for a while between Tam and Mayu. And me and you, Chris, talked about how we couldn't really see the motivation of Tam especially. But with that backstory of how Tam was shunted and how, you know, she's always been sort of overlooked by Mayu. She was overlooked this year in Tag League because she teamed with Starlight Kid. She was overlooked the year before because Mayu teamed with Saki Kashima. Tam has always been overlooked. She was picked after Arisa, and then that led to that feud. So, do you buy... This is the big question, basically. Do you buy Stars as the heels?
Time will tell. I think Mayu definitely has the range. What I'm really worried about is death. I don't think she's capable of emotions. And also Starlight, she's a bit too baby-faced. It's like, I don't know, I think for someone like Starlight, she'd have to start going brutal for me to believe her as a heel. Like, you know, Takeshi Murashima?
Yes.
I swear to God I'm making a point here. Like, he's very, like, pudgy baby-faced, right? He needed to go fucking dropping people on the head brutal for people to buy him as a monster or as a heel. And I think Starlight might have to like go full Nick Gage.
I disagree with light tubes. Oh my God, Starlight Tube Kid.
You know what? Yes,
thank you.
That is getting introduced to my Fire Pro Universe Road straight away. Starlight Kid, hardcore champion. Nick Cage and Necro Butcher trading the championship all year. It's going to be great.
I don't think that needs to be the case. You've got Mayu, who is basically just being an all-out dickhead, and all Starlight needs to do is effectively be that kid that sort of peeks out from behind Mayu and goes, yeah, or just be the dismissive twat that she is being, which is great. She's just, you know, she refuses to acknowledge Unagi, which is absolutely fantastic. The dead eyes that she gives to Mina Shirakawa is tremendous. And, you know, you don't necessarily have to be a chair-wielding psychopath to be a heel. Because, you know, stars are ultimately your uber baby faces. You know, you don't need to turn the job lot heel to make this angle work. You know, you just deliver a storyline like this and sort of have the motivations there. And now that we've got more motivation from Tam, it makes more sense. And Mayu was playing to it very, very well. I agree with you. I think the further Gokikin Death is away from this storyline, the better, because she's completely handicapped by having the gimmick of a clown. You can't do an emotional storyline when you're dressed as a clown. So the sooner Sayurida is reintroduced into the storyline, the better, because I don't think we're done with that at all. You know, not just the title match that's supposed to be happening in January, but them trying to poach Sayurida. I don't think we're done with that yet.
Nah.
But I think Starlight Kid is coming on as a heel. You know, again, she doesn't have to be a heel for the entire time, just a heel in this storyline. And I think she's doing a good enough job of it.
Yeah, I just introduced the light tubes and we're perfect.
What did you give it stars-wise?
You know, right, I didn't rate it because I don't know. Like, I can't decide if I like it or not.
I compared it, and again, Yokohama Cinderella. I compared it to the Oida Tai versus Tokyo Cyber Squad match.
Oh, that was miles better.
I think that was better, but that wasn't great in ring either. It had the one spot.
But like, no, but like for the most part, it didn't have to be. That wasn't the point of the match, and also like the booking of that match. Like, my problem here isn't the in-ring action. My problem here is the booking of it.
Yeah, I don't get me wrong. The storyline in the Tokyo Cyber Squad match was better than this because they made some, in this match, as we've said 4 or 5 times, they made some really, really standout booking faux pas. So, faux pas? Faux pas. Fox pass. Faux pas. Let's call it faux pas. You know, in the whole Gokikin Death thing and things like that. So, I'm still giving it 6 because I think there is enough of a storyline there to keep me captivated. There was just a couple of things that had have changed, like eliminating Gokikin Firth and leaving Mayu to be that final obstacle Mina has to overcome. Because not only is that a better story point, it's metaphorical for everything she had to overcome in the tag league. Just makes more sense. Let's move on then to the semi-main event, which was the double championship match, the SWA Undisputed World's Women's title, and the Wonder of Stardom title match, which ended in a 30-minute time limit draw between Julia and Sayuri. Chris, what did you think of this match?
Oh, it's fucked. This is absolutely great. Just Shuri, she's great, throwing kicks like no one's business, and then Julia, who I'll go into it in a second, because the beginning, like the technical start, I was surprised by how good that was. Like, I know Shuri is like an actual MMA fighter and all that, but like Julia, I never really see her as a grappler. Like, I know she shoots for submissions, but I don't see her as like a chain wrestler. But like here, she was very natural in it. Like, there was a trip up at one point. I was like, oh, that was a lovely piece of, that's some Kurt Angle shit right there. I'm into it. And then the kicks started, and it was great. And Julia Driver on the ramp, that was also great. We tried to kill each other. I'm into that. I'd have liked you, and this would be a perfect match.
I really enjoyed it. I really, really, really enjoyed it for the same reason as you. Both women poured absolutely everything into this match. The stakes and the thought of losing to the stablemates was just too strong in the end for them to carry on with it being a whole, let's just put on a great main event.
Did you notice when they were like struggling to go back to the ring after the Glorious Driver on the
ramp?
On the ramp, that Julia threw Micah at Shuri.
I did. It was great. Micah came over to check if Julia was all right, and Julia threw her into Shuri. It was great.
Like, oh, thanks, fucker. Jesus Christ.
It was amazing. Oh,
like something out of Fall Guys.
I loved as well that you'd got 30 minutes is a long time to wrestle, and I do think that I know that obviously it needed to go to the 30 minutes. I think 30 minutes was slightly too long for this match, but I really enjoyed the fact that in that first 25 minutes, Julia and Syuri threw everything that we would expect them to throw at each other. Each other. You know, we had the Julia drivers, we had the Sazanka, we had the things that we'd usually see in a match between these two. And then as the match wore on, as we got to that 5-minute left call, we'd got both women exhausted, desperate to A, not lose, and B, just to get themselves some space between them and the other person in the ring. So you got that horrendous looking sit out package pile driver, because even though that was horrendous and looked awful, how Syuri didn't end up injured after that is beyond me. But the fact that Julia had to try something completely different, was exhausted, and ultimately didn't do it right, it played into the whole, I've got to try something different because, you know, we're stablemates. We know everything about each other. We've got to pull something different out to win this match. And ultimately, both women are too similar, know each other's moves too well, and have the same fire and determination that they couldn't get the winning for. It was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely incredible stuff. And I'm coming around on Julia more and more. She seems fairly divisive in our Discord. Like, some people seem to be on like our side where we've come around to her, and some are still kind of not there yet. Like, I do agree she's not like perfect yet, but I feel like she's getting good enough to justify the title reign.
Yeah, 100%.
She's only really had one miss, and that was the Konami match. Although, I know some people really don't like the Tam match, the first one from like August.
I've come around to Julia massively, and I actually enjoyed the Konami match at Sendai Cinderella, and I'll stand by that. I really enjoyed it, and this match was great. You know, yeah, there was a couple of botchy moments. Who cares? You know, it's gonna happen. If it doesn't affect the overall story of the match, then I don't care. It's like the previous match, the Cosmic Angels match. There was loads of botches, but ultimately it didn't take away from the overall narrative, so it doesn't bother me. If I don't have to hear another Julia headbutt ever again, that'd be great.
Oh Christ! If you think that, never watch never watch an eruption match at DDC. You can hear those headbutts.
It just doesn't need to happen. Just does not need to happen.
I think, like, I used to hate it in a post-Shibata world, but I was like, they're probably doing it safely, and then like post-Shibata, I'm like, no, please stop. Just never do that again.
That's the thing. You've got Ishii, for example, who is a hard fucker, and he'll just headbutt someone, you know, the collarbone. Just headbutt that, because it adds nothing. It makes everyone who remembers what happened to Shibata, it just makes our arseholes collectively clench and go, please don't do that again. And it was a good way to end the match, in the fact that Julia had to pull out something like that, and then both women collapsed, and then the bell went, which was great. You know, neither woman could get the upper hand on either, to the point where neither was standing at the end of the time limit, which I thought was a nice touch. But we don't need to drag that spot out. It's a spot I don't like in any wrestling, and you know we've seen why it shouldn't happen. You know, many, 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 many times. This is one of the few Stardom matches that Meltzer's actually rated, and he gave it 4.5 stars, Chris. So taking it as a, you know, converting it to the far more prestigious Podmania or Stardom Cast rating scale, that will be a 9 on the ode Stardom Cast rating scale. Where do you sit on it, Chris?
On my chair. I'm feeling about a 9 for this one as well. I did really, really enjoy it. I do agree that 30 minutes, like, we didn't perfectly pace it. Like, in the last few minutes, we were kind of just going through the motions until the time limit has ended. It's like they planned it to end like 2 minutes earlier. But then they just did certain sections a bit too fast, so they had to rush back into it. I could never see Julie do a package power driver again and sleep happy knowing that no one's going to get their neck broken. But like, since no one got hurt, it added to the, like, a lot of my favorite matches have botches like that, like Naito versus Omega at the G1 finals, where Naito gets DDT'd into the post, or there's another one. It's left my mind. But yeah, it happens, and everyone's fine, so we're fine.
I'd give it a 9 as well. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Certainly one of Julia's best matches in the company. I'd say definitely top 3. I'd say, in fact, probably second behind a match with Tam at Yokohama Cinderella. I really enjoyed that, but only because of the rivalry between the two. I think in ring this match was better.
It's third for me after the 5-star Tam match and the Yokohama Tam match.
But again, that's got the benefit of having that story behind it, hasn't it?
Yeah, and also a 20-minute time limit.
Yeah, there is that. We then move on then to our main event, the World of Stardom Championship match, with the champion, Utami Hayashishita, defeating Moma Watanabe in 24 minutes and 26 seconds with the Crucifix Bomb. Most important thing about this match, Chris, was that Mayu was on commentary. So yeah, there was that.
I can't tell. I can't tell you what kind of insights there was.
No, obviously not. What do you think about this match?
I thought it started off a tad slow, but then a B driver happened to unexposed concrete, and it's like, well, I guess this match fucks now. Because after that, we just sort of started hitting each other with increasingly big moves. It was like kind of like the Zeus versus Miyahara match from the Champion Carnival. Stop it! I keep forgetting you do it, and then I meant fuck you. But the match itself was just how much more desperate Momo got as time went on. Like after the Uranagi off the top, great stuff, and then just shows you how perfect it is to protect the finisher. Again, back to the Miyahara Zeus comparison, is that she kicked out with Peach Sunrise, and that like never happened. And oh my god, I fucking blew my leg because it's like, no, that never happens. We're in uncharted territory now, boys. What? Utami, I'm never gonna get sick of the deadlift Germans, because it's not even like one like Akira Tozawa where he does it quickly. She's ragdolling whoever she's deadlifting about before she hits the German. It's great. This surpassed my expectations. I expected it to be good, but it's runner for Stardom match of the year now. Like maybe definitely top 10, approaching top 5 maybe. This was fucking great for me.
I completely agree with you. These two women had tremendous chemistry, as you know, you would hope they would, considering they spend a lot of time wrestling together. But everything they did was brilliant. It started slowly and built and built and built, and you had that crescendo moment of the B driver on the concrete, and then they just seem to pick out these moments, like being hit with the tequila sunrise, then the peach sunrise, and then the moment that you're absolutely right. This is the beauty of having a secondary finisher and not using the peach sunrise every single match. And then when it does happen, no one kicks out of that. Nobody. To have Utami kick out of it, because once she hit that peach sunrise, I was like, she's not going to win, surely. And then Utami kicks out at the last possible moment. And what does Momo do? She screams, she just frantically beats at Utami. Just brilliant.
A switch flipped at that moment. She's like, fuck. Like, it's like, die already.
To be honest though, Chris, too many times when someone's kicked out of a finisher, we automatically just go to the next move in the sequence. Here, there was genuine surprise, confusion, and then anger, rage, and desperation. And
she clearly didn't know where to go from there, because no one kicks out of a peach sunrise.
And that is such a simple thing to do. You know, it's such a simple thing to do, not to finish spam in a match. And then we get moments like this, because not only did it make the storyline better, it made Utami look like a fucking force. It was great. And Utami here was tremendous. She carried herself like a champion. She looked like a champion. I was never in doubt as to what Utami would be like as champion, but you are coming off the back of a Mayu reign where it seemed like every single title defense was a potential match of the year candidate, spanning all the way back to January against Momo. So there is a little bit of inherent pressure to follow that. And you're like, is it going to be as good as Mayu's reign? I don't care now. That match was tremendous, fantastic, and I loved every single that move, that transition from the torture rack into the Meteora. Oh my god. Was that the smoothest transition ever? It looked great.
It was quite lovely, yeah. It was as smooth as like a Randy Orton RKO kind of thing.
It literally popped me out of my seat. It was incredible. What a moment. I really, really, really enjoyed this match. And then, of course, you've got the underlying story about how Momo sort of sees Utami as trying to usurp her. You know, Utami gave Momo the championship shot. She didn't earn it. You know, she's in Utami's shadow a little bit. And then to come up short again is just, it looks like it's too much for her to bear. And there's the moment when Utami says, you know, she makes a very good, very, very telling point. Momo is the leader of Queen's Quest. Momo doesn't retort and walks to the back. Something else is going to happen. I can feel it. And whether it's Momo changing factions or whether it's Momo leading her own faction or whether we're just going to get a shift, I don't know. But there's more storyline here. And, that's what's brilliant about this. It engages you. It's so compelling. And then obviously once that's finished, Utami says she thought that her next title defense was going to be a Budokan in March, but she wants a challenge in January at the 10th anniversary, and Maika appears. And she's going to challenge in January for the red belt. Chris, what's your opinion on that?
Interesting choice. It's a very interesting choice. They have chemistry. We saw it in the 5-star. We saw it in... Have you seen the Just Tap Out match?
I haven't, no.
Oh, it was okay. They haven't had a crazy match yet. I would question putting Maika in this position so early on, but we've done it with basically everyone else in DDM. So I guess if you want to keep all of them looking like equals, you have to. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm not sure. It's going to be a weird one. Like, I can't predict the quality. I think it's going to be baseline fine, but they might try and pull out something special. Because Maika hasn't had that big special performance yet, but something inherently there about her, but she hasn't put it into something we can see yet. So this might be her opportunity.
Suddenly, all the shock wins in the 5-star make sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
I was initially shocked when I first saw it, and I can't remember who I was talking to in the Discord about it. And my initial thought was, well, it sort of takes the mystique out of it, because there's no way Maika's taking the belt off Utami. So does that take us out of it a little bit? And someone pointed out, well, it's not necessarily... That's not the point of her being in this match. That's not why she's there. The reason she's there is to elevate her to that level, to show that she is capable of wrestling at that level. And once you take the whole, well, she's not going to win, out of the situation? Is that the word I'm looking for? Basically out of what we're talking about, it's an interesting matchup. And do you know what? I'm absolutely fine with it, because again, Maika has been packaged so well, has been looked after so well, and has been booked so well that it's not out of the realm of possibility that this is going to be an excellent match. Utami's capable of putting on tremendous matches. Maika, though she hasn't had that blow-away tremendous match in Stardom yet,
she's solid.
Everyone has their first tremendous match. Everyone starts somewhere, so why not be in the main event of the 10th anniversary show in January? Why not?
No, again, and it's a rivalry that's been brewing under the surface in Stardom basically since Maika came in. So, and since before the Just Tap Out match. So, again, it's not the worst one to go with. It's something I wouldn't put this early on in a reign, but then again, we don't know how long Utami's going to be champion, so maybe we just wanted to get out of the way. I'm sure it's going to be at least fine, and I agree, everyone has to have their first tremendous match at some point, so why the fuck shouldn't it be this one?
I don't think it's going to be a bad match at all. And
No.
to be perfectly honest, I don't think Utami will have to carry Maika. I think Maika is capable.
Yeah. Like, even if she didn't have to carry him, Utami could probably just Brock Lesnar her way out of a bad pairing.
What did you give this match, Chris?
Oh, I gave it a high 9. I fucking loved it. And like, the only reason it's not a 10 is because, as I said, I felt the beginning was a tad slow. It didn't really kick into the high gear until the B driver. But then when that happened, just nothing but great stuff throughout the rest of the match.
I gave it 10.
Ooh.
And
to be fair, like, I've realised that over this year, I've become a lot more stingy with my 10s. Like, I was putting together my end of year match list video, and only 4 matches got the full 10 from me this year in hindsight.
I'll be honest, the slowness of the start didn't bother me. I didn't see it as slow. I saw it as, a feeling out process. Again, these women are extremely familiar with each other. If they go gung-ho, then they're going to lose. So it's a case of feeling each other out. And then there's that snap moment where it kicks into another gear. I think if you've got 23 minutes, or I think it was 23 minutes, of just outright balls to the wall mentalness, the crowd are going to get burnt out. So you need to have that slow build.
True, but they didn't really plant seeds that would come to fruition, which you should do in a feeling out period. And in storyline wise, we don't need to feel each other out because we already know each other inside out. So it's weird.
They did try something else, though. I mean, you got Utami trying to target the leg, and then Momo eviscerating the neck of Utami. So you had got things being different as well. I mean, Momo, from that B driver on the concrete, weakened the neck pretty much like a shark around blood in water. I mean, she was relentless. And even though Utami's legwork was ultimately futile, it was about Utami surviving the barrage that Momo was laying on her. And I think it worked. To each their own. I think we're arguing about what? Half a star? Ultimately, we can both agree that this was a tremendous match.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is definitely top 10 of Stardom's year, approaching top 5.
This is another one that Meltzer rated. He gave it 4.25. I think that's low. I think it's at least on par with the Julius Fury match, but there we are. I'm not going to argue over a quarter of a star. That's pointless. So, Chris, my big question to you before we move on to the events of after Year End Climax. Don't forget, we're not reviewing Year End Climax till the new year. Which show was better? And ultimately, I think this boils down to what is your favourite Stardom show of the year?
My favourite's still 9th anniversary.
Really?
Really? It's because it's so dense. Like, these are fairly long shows, whereas the 9th anniversary is so dense. And also, 2 of my top 5 Stardom matches of the year were on that show. So
interesting. Okay.
I think also the fact there was an actual crowd on it helps.
Well. Yeah.
But in terms of this or Yokohama, I'm gonna go with this. Mostly because of Utami, because it boils down to mostly the undercard's better, and I prefer Utami Momo to Shiri Mei. So
I agree with you. I think this as a show is better as a whole. And that's not to say Yokohama Cinderella isn't a great show. It's 1A and 1B. But I thoroughly enjoyed this show. And yes, it was 3 hours, but it was 3 hours that flew by. And these two the main and the semi-main, were tremendous matches. So, yeah, a really, really, really good showing in Stardom's final big show of the year. So, Chris, let's talk about the the events of post Year End Climax. I'm sure everyone that is listening to the podcast has seen what happened. It was posted all over Twitter and it's posted all over Facebook. If not, can I just suggest that you fast forward maybe 5 or 10 minutes where we talk about our end of year awards. But post main event, the Stardom roster, apart from Oedatai, sat down and watched a video review of the year, and this was then interrupted by a returning Yoshiko and Nene Takahashi returning to the company. Now, Yoshiko made a beeline for Mayu and basically challenged her to a singles match. Saida attempted to step in, but was sort of big-timed by Yoshiko, which made me laugh. Starlight Kid attempted to step in and offer her and Saida as a tag match for Yoshiko and Nene Takahashi. And Moma Watanabe turned to Mayu and said, "This is not just a Stars problem, this is a Stardom problem." Turned to Yoshiko and said that if she thought that she was the same Momo from 4 years ago, then she will end up extremely hurt, which I thought was a badass thing to say. Julia stood up and said, "Look, everyone, it's the person who didn't win the Woman of the Year 2020, Yoshiko," which was tremendous. It's great that she is treating this like Owen Hart treated the Slammies. Really, really, really tremendous.
She should start coming out with a copy of Tokyo Sport.
Yes! Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Like Yano with the DVDs.
Yeah.
And then Mayu sort of agrees, I think, kind of, and then Yoshiko and Takahashi leave. Chris.
Yeah.
Obviously, Yoshiko is a wrestler with a little bit of baggage, and for those who don't know, Yoshiko is part of one of the most infamous in-ring shoots, I think it's fair to say, with Achi Asakawa, where Yoshiko pretty much beats the ever-loving shit into it. However, and this was a tweet that I saw, and for me, this makes perfect sense. If the Stardom roster are okay with Yoshiko coming back, and let's face it, if they weren't, Yoshiko wouldn't be coming back.
Mm-hmm.
If the Stardom roster are okay with Yoshiko coming back, because ultimately they are the people going into the ring with her, then we as fans, irrelevant of how we feel about Yoshiko, we should be fine about that as well. You can be upset about it, you can be angry about it, you can be angry because of that incident. That's fine. But ultimately, the Stardom roster are okay with Yoshiko stepping back into a Stardom ring. So we need to accept that. It is going to be weird, I'm not going to lie, but this immediately feels huge. Like, they came out and, this is Nene Takahashi, this is the original ace of Stardom, the Joshi legend, the first ever World of Stardom champion. This is Yoshiko, who's a huge deal. This is a massive, massive thing for Stardom, and obviously you are feeling that we are going to be heading towards the Budokan show and the 10th anniversary tour, so they are going to be wanting to stack the deck to get those seats in for Budokan. But a Yoshiko versus Mayu singles match would be tremendous.
I have two feelings on this. One about Yoshiko, because remember she was brought up earlier this month. We were talking in the Discord, and then someone brought up, because I think it was Pro Wrestling Wave. That's where she works. It was Wave or Seedlink, and someone mentioned her name, and it rang a bell. It's like, shit, is that the person from the incident? And they were like, yeah, but apparently she's been working for years now, and everyone seems to have moved on. It's a horrific fucking thing. By the way, don't it's out there. Don't seek it unless you actually want to see someone's face get broken.
It's uncomfortable to watch.
It's very uncomfortable to watch. I don't know why I watched it, but I did. But in terms of like the actual angle, it's one of those ones where I'm really sad Stardom don't go out live because oh my god, if I could have just seen this with blind eyes, oh my god, what this is the first invasion angle in Stardom that since I started watching that feels scary. It feels like when Suzuki Gun came back in 2017. Like
Definitely.
and like just immediately there's an aura around these two. I don't know where the fuck it's going, but I'm super interested. And the fact that like literally all of Stardom's in storyline is taking it apart from Oedatai, that's weird. Maybe if they'll take over Oedatai, that'd be pretty fucking badass. Like
that
honestly,
would be incredible.
Yeah, just walking in.
Oh my god!
Brit punches Tora. This is my house now, my rules. Yeah, but I'm just there's such a presence now around both of them, and but you can't manufacture that. You can't buy that sort of charisma, that sort of interest. And I've only seen a couple of Yoshiko matches. She is really good. She's a proper fucking bruiser.
And let's face it, who on that roster is better at fucking ragdolling themselves for a bruiser than Mayu?
Yeah, and then like also the thought of her and Momo, like because Momo will give as good as she gets.
Oh, she will definitely.
And like I think you'd agree with me by saying like a lot over the last few months, a lot of the pairings have been sort of burned through very quickly. So this immediately injects a lot into Stardom, and like just these two women coming back has completely, absolutely 100% changed the landscape. It's so, I'm so intrigued, and not in a evil champion. I didn't expect that to happen way. In a I want to see what happens next because this looks like it's going to be fucking amazing way. And for next podcast, I'm going to actually watch some of both women's big matches in Stardom World because I want to know a bit more going in. Because I believe Yoshiko's who beat Io Shirai for the title.
Yes, and then I think Yoshiko was obviously stripped in light of this.
Yeah. But I understand people who are a bit wary about it, but I don't think she's going to be shooting on anyone, and I don't think she's inherently unsafe at this stage.
No, and that's the thing. Completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. I understand people who are hesitant completely, but again, she's not going to be going in there and just smashing the shit out of Starlight Kid.
And she's not the first person in Japanese wrestling to have shot on someone and then been forgiven. I mean, look at fucking Maida and Choshu back in New Japan in the 80s. Like
Nene Takahashi did it.
Yeah.
She beat the shit out of Kairi Sane. Kairi Hoja.
Yeah. Ogawa in New Japan.
Yeah. Ogawa and Hashimoto.
But to be fair, that's probably because Inoki was like, I'll shoot on you if you don't shoot on him. And
I don't know why I find it funny. It's not funny. It's fucking terrifying.
It's not funny at all. But yeah, that's like I think she's been like in smaller promotions long enough to have proven she's not like that anymore.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Like even though like if I had the Book of Stardom, I'd be wary if no one's being made like who's actually going to be affected by this feels uncomfortable wrestling with her. I see no problem.
No, I agree. So, Chris, the final thing to come out of Year End Climax, which isn't a result, because obviously we're going to talk about that in our first podcast of the new year, like I said earlier, is that Mina Shirakawa is going to be out for, I've seen both 2 months and a month and a half. So roughly between those two, because she had her nose broken by a Julia Big Boot.
I saw the picture in our Discord. It looked fucking disgusting.
It looks grim. Looks very, very grim. And unfortunately, that does throw the aforementioned spanner into the works of the ongoing Stars and Cosmic Angels storyline. I mean, admittedly, you could just make it a tag team match. I mean, it would, yes, throwing Sayurida in and making it the sixth woman, that would make sense because that's where the storyline's going. But ultimately, you can still continue the storyline with Mayu and Starlight versus Tam and Unagi. That's fine. And especially if you're going to have little bits between Yoshiko and Mayu anyway, you can afford to not put it on the back burner, but you can allow it to sort of bubble under the surface until she's ready to come back.
You can stall for a couple weeks. Like, in this essence, it wasn't going to happen until, like, this probably wasn't going to come to a head until Budokan. So you can stall for a few weeks and then rush the build. Like, it's not like when Jungle got injured and now Konami's just sort of floating in the wilderness.
So, ladies and gentlemen, before we sign off, thank you to everyone who has responded to our Stardom Cast End of Year awards. We cannot tell you how many responses we've had, and we thoroughly appreciate it. So thank you so much. What we're going to do now is we're going to give our ballots to the 7 categories. And what we're going to do is I'm going to ask Chris, he's going to give me his top 3, and then I'm going to give my top 3, and then we'll go down. We will announce the results on the first podcast after New Year. This will close on the 1st of January. So if you haven't got your votes in, vote now. So, Chris, are you ready to give your votes?
Yes. I probably could have written this down, but it's in my head. I've got this.
So, Stardom Wrestler of the Year, who is 3rd, 2nd, and 1st for you?
Okay, so for me, 3rd, and literally she's only 3rd because several factors kept her off TV this year, but Jungle, every time she turned up, made the most of the time she was given. Like, chances are, if you had a match with Jungle this year, it was one of your best matches.
Yeah, agreed.
She had for my money, she had the best title defense with Mayu this year, and that's and spoiler, she might be further up my list. 2nd is Tam. She is the expert of taking a 10-minute time slot and turning it into like something that feels like a 30-minute epic. Like, she's so good at putting so much into a short amount of time and not having it feel forced. Like, one of my favorite Stardom matches all year is her versus Mayu at the 5-star, and that's under 10 minutes, and it's fucking incredible. Like, it's better than, and I'll put my foot down and say this is better than any Okada defense in 2019. So, but it's not hard. But people still like Okada. But people still like Okada for some reason. And then number one is May. Like, of course it is. Like, is there any doubt over who's winning Stardom Wrestler of the Year this year? May's just been on an absolute another level.
Yeah, she's God tier this year, certainly. Yeah. So for me personally, 3rd is Tam. There is a reason that Tam has been in the 2 emotional storylines of this year, and that's because she can weave storylines and weave emotions so well into her matches. And, the stuff with Arisa last year to the stuff with Julia this year, and then with Mayu and Stars towards the end of this year, she's been in 2 of the feuds of the year. So, there's a reason for that. And, she had a good 5-star. She had a good Goddesses of Stardom tag league. She's been constantly good. I think the least I can do is throw her a 3rd place. The very, very least. Number 2 is Utami. A tremendous year for Utami. She's won the Goddess of Stardom tag titles. She won the 5-star. She won the red belt. There's literally nothing else that this woman can do, and she's constantly improving. She feels like she's ascended to that main event level, and yeah, she's, again, this match with Momo really does cement her as a real star. So tremendous. And then 1st has to be Mayu for every reason you outlined. Every single match that she's had for that red belt before she lost it to Utami, and including that match, felt like legitimate Match of the Year contenders. And as we go down to Match of the Year, you'll see just how many of Mayu's matches are actually Match of the Year. She's just been tremendous. And spoiler, apparently a lot of you think so too. So yeah, that's our top 3 each for Stardom Wrestler of the Year. So let's go to Stardom Match of the Year. Now, crucially different, we have a Match of the Year and a Tag Match of the Year. So, Chris, what are your top 3 matches of the year for Stardom?
Okay, so number 3 is, I'm just looking at what is Utami versus Arisa from 9th anniversary. Yeah. Now, there are actually matches I do think are objectively better, like even on the same card, if you look at like my top 10 matches of the year video, plug, Tam versus Kagetsu beat this. But when I rewatched this match a few weeks ago, I fucking ugly cried because I just miss Arisa so much. I miss her so much. Like, and the fact that she was acting like a psychopath. I know me and you differ on this match, and we're probably never not gonna differ. Quite frankly, like I don't think we're ever gonna agree on this match, but I think just how fucking brutal it is, how psycho Arisa was just amazing. And then second is Mayu versus Jungle. Just, oh my god. I didn't expect Jungle and Mayu to have this kind of match. I didn't expect Mayu to wrestle smart because, like, it's Mayu. But she wrestled really smart here and, like, started fucking with standard Stardom conventions to subvert expectations. And it was great. And I loved it. And yeah, I think you saw this one coming as well. But Mayu versus Aroha at Weight of a Major League. There's not been a 3 week span this year where I haven't praised this match. It's one of 4 matches I've given 10 out of 10 to in retrospect this year. And just the Power Ranger kicks, man. I'm never gonna get over those fucking Power Ranger kicks.
So third for me is Mayu versus Takumi Aroha from the Weight of Major League 2020. Tremendous match. Can't say anything else about that. It's a match that they booked on the fly. It was a replacement match for what should have been Mayu versus Sari, I believe. Yeah. So a tremendous match full of hard-hitting bollocks, which is great. So that ranks third for me. Second is the Utami versus Moma Watanabe match from Osaka Dream Cinderella. All of the drama, just a really, really, really good match. And finally, possibly controversially, my Stardom match of the year is Mayu versus Aroha 2 from Goddess of Stardom Tag League Night 4.
Divided on Discord.
It is.
These two matches. There seems to be 2 sides here. Well, there's 2 matches, if that makes sense. But, like, everyone has a slide and everyone's very passionate about their side.
I love both the matches. The matches. And my standpoint is the second match is everything that is wonderful about the first match, but with a storyline.
Yeah, but the one thing that I end up taking issue with the second one, and it's a small thing, it like only just drags it down. But I felt the ending was a bit sloppy. Like Aroha's foot was very clearly on the ropes.
Nah, worked. It worked in the context of the story. It worked for me. But again, it's it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. We're fine.
We're fine. Stardom tag team match of the year, then, Chris. What are your third, second, and first?
Okay, so first one, in third is Moma Watanabe versus Utami and Saya from Stardom is again. I did not expect that to be anywhere near as good as it was. Like I expected it to be like grand. I expected it to be fine, but then it was just absolutely incredible. Like this was before we got completely burned out on draws because around this time, oh my god, did they not stop with the draws? So the draw was shocking. The draw makes sense. The story was great. The action was great, especially the exchanges between Saya and Azumi, and then Moma and Utami starting to bomb each other into the ground. Never going to get old. Second is Team Marvelous versus Queen's Quest. Some say the drop kicks are still happening to this day. But like also, whenever Aroha would be taken down a peg, it felt like a beast being slain. It was incredible. Like, I don't know how, because she's so much taller than everyone else in the match, but she just felt more legitimate just because of that. It's like, oh my god, it's a giant. It's like Shadow of a Colossus or something. And then number one is obviously Jungle and Momo versus Kagetsu and May. I didn't expect this match to be as good as it is. Like, this is like my overall tag match of the year just because of how much I enjoyed it in terms of just sheer enjoyment watching wrestling. I don't think anything really tops this year just because May doing a Reddit shit, she was clearly relishing in it. Like, getting to do the all the tactics that got pulled on her, it was just great. Clearly having a great time. Everyone was, apart from Jungle and Momo who wanted to kill the other two. It was a nice little dichotomy. I loved it.
So third for me is exactly the same as you. That time limit draw between Queen's Quest from Stardom is again tremendous match, and the underlying does Saya Kamatani belong in Queen's Quest storyline added tremendously to it. Her exchanges with Momo throughout the year have been tremendous, and I love seeing them. Second is the JK Green versus Kagetsu and Mayu match from the 9th anniversary show in Osaka. Again, tremendous. It's one of the very few tag matches I've actually gone back and watched again. Thoroughly enjoyed it. The birth of Dickhead Mayu, maybe. And first for me was the Team Marvelous versus Queen's Quest match from the 5-star special in Tokyo. Just Aroha had, or has, should I say, that star power, and it just oozed throughout the match. Like, everyone looked brilliant in this match, and it felt like a real, well, for lack of a better phrase, it felt like a real big event, and I loved it. I didn't want it to end. It was a tremendous match, Chris.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing.
Stardom show of the year, then. Where are you going with this, Chris?
Okay, so third is Yokohama. Great stuff, top to bottom. A lot of filler in the middle, but like storylines were paid off. Some great matches on there, especially the top two. Just some of the best I've seen from Stardom all year. And then Osaka Dream, which is basically the same, but in Osaka, still better. And also that Momo versus Utami match only just missed out on a top 3 spot. And then you have 9th anniversary, which again, I think is just so dense, and it has 3 of my favourite matches all year on it, as well as a really solid tag team title match. And some really fun undercard stuff. And that high-speed triple threat, amazing as well. Just really good. And it sort of marks the sort of height of Stardom's climb from the year before, really, doesn't it? Because we're in a sold-out Korakuen Hall with some amazing matches on the card, with the 2, arguably at the time, ace figures in Stardom with Momo and Mayu going at it. And that isn't even the 3 matches I was talking about that I love so much. It's just amazing. Just go out your way to see it. It's not even that long a show. It's like, I think in-ring time all tops up to around 90 minutes and an overall 2-hour show. Just go out your way and watch it. It's amazing.
Well, I am just going to mention a close fourth is the Year End Climax 2019. That was a tremendous show, and it's the first full show I watched as it was uploaded for Stardom. So yeah, it will always hold a special place in my heart. That show was a great show. Third 9th anniversary show in Tokyo. Tremendous show. Main evented by a tremendous red belt defense between Mayu and Momo. Really good show. The second choice for me is the Yokohama Cinderella show. The biggest show of the year up to that point. And it felt that way. The crowd was electric. I thought Mayu and Syuri is underrated. I think that's a really good match. You had the Tokyo Cyber Squad, capitulation, and the Konami turn. You had that fantastic opener between Azumi and Starlight Kid. You had Tam versus Julia, just top to bottom. Apart from those weird little sort of filler matches, a really good card. And for me, that's why Osaka Dream Cinderella ranks number 1. It didn't really have, the Oida Tai tag off filler, but they were better quality than the Yokohama Cinderella filler, if that makes sense. And the highs of Osaka Dream were slightly higher than the Yokohama Cinderella highs. I mean, you got Moma versus Utami, tremendous. Julie versus Syuri, tremendous. Azumi versus Mei Hoshizuki, really good. Yeah, can't fault it at all. So yeah, that's what gets my number 1 vote. Right, Chris, Stardom Most Improved Wrestler.
Well, number 1 is obviously no, it's not Death. Number 3 is Julia. She's went from someone I actually despise to someone I'm actually looking forward to seeing on future cards.
Mm-hmm.
So, and just in every aspect of her game, she's improved. Her moveset's hitting harder. Her promos are getting better. Just she's on the up. She's not quite there yet, but she's improving at a fairly tremendous rate at this point. Second is, I'm trying to decide between second and first. Right, okay. Second is Starlight Kid, because I had one issue with Starlight Kid at the beginning of the year, and her offense was weak, and then you get to the 5-star, and she's killing people. So she addressed the one issue I had with her, and it's great. I like when that happens. And then first, this is somebody who has a way to go. But Sai Kamatani, considering at the start of the year, I didn't even care about it. I was like, oh, running shooting star press, that's all you are. And then just I think the moment it really changed was that tag match where suddenly she felt like she belonged, because especially within Queen's Quest, when she was wearing that frilly frock, she was being superimposed onto Queen's Quest photo shoots and all that, and now she feels as integral part of Queen's Quest as anyone else in it.
100%. Agreed. Completely agreed. So, I'm going to cop out and call a joint third. See how much time I'm doing it, don't worry. And my joint third is Starlight Kid and Sayarida. I think Starlight Kid for exactly the same reasons you said. Sayarida has improved tremendously, even just from the 5-star, which she shouldn't even been in, putting on fantastic matches there, and then feeling like just every time I see her, she's improved in ring. She just feels like more of a threat, she feels less pin fodder and more like a legitimate pocket rocket threat. And I can't ask any more from Sayarida for where she is. She's improving her moveset tremendously. She's constantly integrating different things, trying different things. Can't fault her. So she and Starlight Kid are both at 3. Julia is second for the exact same reason as you. When she won the Cinderella tournament back in March, I could not have given less of a fuck. And for me, it was a little bit of a wet fart. But how far she's come in my estimation, talking now on the 27th of December, she's come on leaps and bounds. Leaps and leaps and bounds. She's connecting with audiences. She's putting on tremendous matches. She feels like a legitimate star with that white belt. Yeah, I can't ask any more of her. Tremendous. And then number 1 is Sai Kamatani. For someone to come as far as she has, to the point where she feels, you look at the confidence she has when she walks to the ring now, with that belt strapped around her, she feels like a future star. She really does. And she's got the aggression, she's got the emotion, she's got the fucking Phoenix splash, for God's sake. So, what else can you ask for? She's come on
flight tubes.
Amazing what light tubes from Sai Kamatani. Yeah, really, really good. So she is my Stardom most improved wrestler. Feud of the year, then. Who are you giving this to, Chris?
Okay, so third, and this is basically just tailing off at the end of last year more than into this year, but I really enjoyed the stuff with Julia and Hannah.
Yeah.
Every time we got into the ring with each other, it was always at least fun. I still remember when DDM first debuted and Layla Hirsch got pinned in the 6-man, and then Hannah was like, "You pinned my bodyguard. Do you really think that means you can beat me?" It's like, well, fuck Layla Hirsch, I guess. Jesus. It's just a great stuff. And Hannah's obviously someone who's really missed on the Stardom roster. She's a presence that's missed. Secondly, it's weird because I've been down on Julia most of the year, but Tam versus Julia was fucking incredible. That whole summer series, that trilogy was really good. They had great chemistry in tag matches. I remember the Stardom is Again match where Tam was standing on, I think it was Sayarida, to try and get in Julia's face. It was hilarious. And then versus Mayu and Iroha, which is weird because it's not in terms of pure. Basically, Iroha came in fucking Killmonger in Black Panther, destroyed Mayu, then fucked off, and then she was this looming presence throughout the whole year, where at any point she could swoop in and claim her title shot. So in many ways, it's sort of like Ciampa and Gargano, where at the start, before it became incredibly played out, where Gargano was doing all these things in NXT, but at any second, Ciampa could come back and completely wreck this man's whole career. So I just love shit like that. I love a looming threat in wrestling, and that's what Aroha brought to Stardom this year.
Third, Mayu and Aroha, exactly the same reason as you. Julia and Hannah, second. It was the thing that Julia needed to bring her into the mainstream of Stardom, because people went exactly hot on her, and then she got into a feud with unbelievably charismatic Hannah, and you can argue that that's the moment that Julia sort of started taking off. And then Tam and Julia, I raved about this feud, and it's the reason that, especially their second match at Yokohama Cinderella, was so fucking good. Well, third, if you count the 5-star. Their third match at Yokohama Cinderella was so fucking good was because Tam is just so brilliant at weaving these emotional stories, and Julia is just as good. I mean, for God's sake, she's in the top 2 of my top 3 feuds of the year in Stardom, so what does that tell you about her? Tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. Last 2 then, Chris, and the last one shouldn't take too long. So, Stardom moment of the year.
It's weird because it's been a hard year to have moments, just because of having no crowd kind of destroys some moments. But I've been going for third. TCS breaking up and Konami turning on Jungle, because the moment itself was incredible. I'm trying not to judge it too harshly next to what happened after, which was nothing. But the moment itself, I was like, oh shit, I'm completely up for a Konami and Kiona feud. And then, of course, Kiona got injured, and Konami, she might have went to the hills to live with Oka. We'll never know. Second is, it's going to sound weird, but like Stardom being at Wrestle Kingdom, it seemed to be a turning point where people were like, oh, we should actually turn around and watch it. Because New Japan, at the end of the day, is prestige wrestling. Like, it's seen as the place where people go to be the best they can. And going into Wrestle Kingdom, they were also riding a massive momentum with a 2-day Tokyo Dome show. So people finally turned around going, oh, Stardom isn't just this thing watched by weirdos. It's an actual legit thing. Maybe I'll check it out. And people checked it out, and more people love Stardom now, and it's great. And then and the announcement of running Budokan Hall, I just got so excited. Like, I know there's been a lot of talk of can they draw there, but like, I don't care. Just the thought of Stardom being in that venue is a great thought for me, and I can't wait to see it.
Hard to disagree with you, mate. So I'm going to go with Stardom selling out Korakuen for the first time as number 3. It was a massive indicator of where Stardom was headed before COVID fucked everything up this year. It was a huge signal of intent as well for the company, which was then echoed in number 2, them featuring at Wrestle Kingdom. Wrestling at Wrestle Kingdom is, the pinnacle of Japanese wrestling, it feels like. And to have Stardom represented there, yes, it was a dark match that people don't get to see, but ultimately you had 4 wrestlers who were wrestling in front of 40,000 people. That's nothing to be sniffed at. Your brand is being represented at a place where 40,000 people are witnessing it. So for the company, that's a tremendous moment. And that ultimately has led to, number 1, Stardom announcing the running Budokan Hall. I mean, what a way to cap off this year. That's tremendous. I mean, it's ambitious. It's scarily ambitious. But it's going to be incredible, and I can't wait for it, because the card they're going to put on for Budokan is going to be tremendous, and I cannot wait for that. And finally, Chris, we'll just do the one here, because there's no point doing top 3, because there's only 6 options. Faction of the year. Who's been your faction of the year this year?
DDM. It felt like such a tight unit. Like, even when we've added people, like, for example, we were both a bit hesitant with Himika just because a tall rookie had all the makings of like someone like Kevin Nash, where we're just going to hate watching him. But then Himika was great, and then Natsupoi came in, and we haven't really done anything with her yet, but like it's clear they're going to at some point, and that's going to be great when they finally do. And then just the main trio of Micah, Julia, and Shuri, just three incredible talents, and they don't feel bloated. Like the thing is, with Stars at the start of the year, Stars was fairly bloated at that point. So having a tight faction, it was the first time we really got that since like TCS last year. So it was just great stuff. I've been loving DDM all year.
I completely agree with you. DDM are my faction of the year as well. You've got 4 legitimate single stars in DDM. And then recently added Natsupoi, and though they, like I said, they haven't done anything with it yet, you get the sense that they are going to. And that Azumi versus Natsupoi match that we are going to get, whew! When we come together for the 2021 awards, expect that to be on the ballot, because that will be absolutely tremendous. Julia and Suri especially feel as 2 huge, huge stars. And you get the impression that they are going to be 2 that carry the company going forward. Micah as well. And then Himika, like you said, she came in, she looked a little bit green, but she came on tremendously. I mean, to be honest, she could quite easily be in the top 3 for the most improved, because she's improved tremendously. Her 5-star was incredible.
She was one of the MVPs of that whole tournament.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And there you are, ladies and gentlemen. Those are our votes for the Stardom End of Year Awards. We've given our votes, so please go and give your votes before the voting closes on the 1st of January. Myself and Chris will be back on Sunday I'm just checking the calendar to see when it is. It'll be Sunday the 3rd of January, so we'll be back then to go through all of the happenings in Stardom, and we'll be going through the actual card of Year End Climax, as well as announcing the winners of our End of Year Awards. Until then, thank you so much for listening, guys. We really, really, really do appreciate it. Go and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review, subscribe. It really, really does help our podcast out. And while we're on that, thank you so much for making this year tremendous for the Stardom cast. We've grown and grown and grown and grown and grown, and we legitimately couldn't do it without all of you guys, so thank you so much to everyone for that. Talk to us on Twitter at the Stardomcast. Go and check out the website, www.podmania.co.uk. You can talk to me on Twitter at RealRobGoodwin. Chris, where can they find you?
On YouTube, Chris O'Brien, top 25 matches of the year. Number 1 won't surprise you, but number 14 might.
Go and check it out. It's also on the website as well. Thank you so much for listening, guys. We hope you've had a wonderful Christmas and have a tremendous New Year. We'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye.